What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 426 of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast, Hot Tags of the Week, where we'll be breaking down some of the current events, rumors, news, gossip, and everything else that went down in the world of professional wrestling over the past few days, other than the fact that we already just talked about the Worlds Collide and Royal Rumble events. So if you're interested in our thoughts on those, go back and check out those post shows. And we're just going to kind of roll along here with all the other stories that are going around. Who are we? Well, I'm your host as always, Tony Mango, and joining me as always is Robert DeFelice.
I'm a little sick, but we're going to get through this.
A little sick
The
of
tags
what?
are hot, like the soup that I desire.
What kind of soup?
I enjoy like a good, like all meats kind of soup. You know, you get a little beef in there, you get a little chicken in there, you put some noodles, potatoes, other things.
Settle a bet. What's a better soup? Chicken noodle or tomato?
Tomato.
Ah, god damn it. I'm very much pro chicken noodle over tomato.
I'm not a fan of chicken noodle.
Depends on where you get it from.
It's got to be cooked properly.
We'll see. Yeah.
Can't have too many cooks.
It just causes a lot of problems and a lot of different things. Tell us your favorite soup in the comments below, but also tell us your thoughts on the hot tags. Of course, as always, I want you to tell us what you've got in your minds, what you think about what we think, all that other kind of stuff. So by all means, if you are on the audio only platforms, you're on Stitcher, you're on Spotify, you're on Google Play, whatever it is, you can't leave a comment there. So hop on over to YouTube. And while you're over there, you should be subscribing to the channel if you haven't done that already. Ring that little bell for the notifications, like the video. And then, of course, the whole point of me mentioning this is to leave a comment below. We're going to continue on with the plugs a little bit later on, but that's not the highlight. The highlight are the actual topics. So let's get into the topics here. Let's talk about the two specials from the network that aired over the past 2 days. They were WWE Chronicle, John Morrison, and WWE 24, WrestleMania New York. I don't know why they don't just call it WrestleMania 35, but that's stupid. Because
I have a problem with it. It's not New York.
It's not New York to begin with. Then again, we've already ran down the idea that it's not 24 for a lot of these things. So,
well, this one was 24.
This one was. The WrestleMania ones, and this is no exception, the WrestleMania ones are the best.
Yeah.
This was great. I definitely recommend checking it out if you did not already, and you more than likely didn't because it's been a packed week. So take the time out and watch it. It's an hour long. It's like 53 minutes or so. And it's cool. You know, same as it always is.
The WrestleMania ones are always the best.
You got like behind the scenes footage of people being all nervous. You got some celebrations and stuff, like the New Day hugging Vince. Some great moments, you know, and that's really good to be able to relive that. For the matter, oh god.
No, I just, like you said, it was all really good. There's like really awkward, cute moments between Becky and Seth. That's a lot of fun. The whole thing was good.
I like the part where Ricochet is talking to Shawn Michaels, and Michaels is just like, hey, you know, you're going to have a lot of these, and like, I'm proud of you, whatever. And then afterward, Ricochet's like, that's Shawn Michaels. Like, he's just kind of like, still geeking out. The fact that he's been over a year on this roster at that point, and it's still just kind of like, it's Michaels.
Wouldn't you? Like, I would too, shit.
Yeah, it's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Like, best.
I like that a lot. I liked the Chronicle John Morrison quite a bit too. I definitely recommend for people to check that out.
I didn't see that one. I can't imagine that it was really good. But if you say see it, I'll see it.
Between the two, the Mania one's better, but I like the Chronicle ones where they actually have something to chronicle. I don't like it when it's like WWE Chronicle, the couple of nights where Bayley was in a title match that was important, but she didn't even do anything all that special. Or like, and that's not necessarily the Bayley one. I forget what the Bayley one was, but
turning heel on cutting her hair.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. So it's even then, I still feel like it doesn't feel that monumental. But when somebody makes their return, then that's cool. Like they should be filming a Chronicle for Edge right now. If they're not, then that's silly. But the Morrison stuff, it showed that his thought process behind coming back. It was the type of thing that He's had a lot of ideas that were revolving around pro wrestling, and he kind of figured, I've been out of the game a little bit, and if I want to return, I want to come back, quote unquote, home. So, yeah, I recommend checking it out. If you're a big Morrison fan, you definitely have to. If you're not a
Yeah.
big fan of him, then maybe skip it. But I mean, I give it my thumb of approval. My thumb up, I should say.
All
Seal of
right. Well,
approval.
then I will check it out because I do everything you tell me to do.
All right, stand on one leg
Ah, fuck.
and admit that chicken noodle soup is better.
Oh, wow. Now you got me in a catchphrase too. Now I have to say it.
Let's talk injuries. That sucks, but we know now that Io Shirai has been dealing with an injury that she suffered from the Toni Storm match. We know that Sasha Banks is injured, and that's why she was not in the Royal Rumble, and that AJ Styles suffered an injury during the Royal Rumble, which is why it felt like he was eliminated before he was supposed to be, which it's because he was.
Yep.
So the Banks thing, what's the situation with that? Do we
She's
know
just not
why?
medically cleared. She was in the up, up, down, down Rumble stream this morning, so she's fine. She's just not medically cleared to compete.
No, like,
There's no
specifications?
specific. Nah. No.
And Shirai, oh god, I'm blanking on it now. She like tweaked her knee or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
So she's going to be out for, I think it was 2 months. And Styles, there's not 100% confirmation yet, but it seems like he separated his shoulder or dislocated his shoulder or some variation behind that. And that, of course, has a wide range of possible return times, possible ways to rehab and everything. And if you are interested in some of the breakdown of that, check out one of the most recent things we've added onto the site, which Ethan has put up another wrestling doctor note edition. And this is kind of breaking down some of what that might mean. Very
That.
informative, very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And shout out to him. I love the little features like that because nobody else is doing this stuff. That's why Smart Guy Moment is good. You should be checking out the weekly articles.
Yeah, and you're gonna find that, and of course, if you have any more information, or if we have any more information, we'll address that in the future. But it seems like since it's just happened, 24 hours ago, that the information's a little sparse, and they probably still have to get him checked out. They probably still have to like see how he's feeling, all that other kind of stuff. But here's hoping that he's not out at the very least for Mania, because that would suck, or
Yeah.
that it's one of those situations where they just don't know and they wait too long and then they don't do anything for Mania anyway just because they haven't been able to build something.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I love AJ.
Do you
But
think, off the top of your head, do you think that this changed anything from the Royal Rumble match itself?
yeah, I think maybe they were supposed to get a 3-on-1 beatdown on Edge.
And then like Orton comes out and saves him or something?
Yep.
Could be. I mean, they covered for it pretty damn well. So it wasn't like one of those scenarios where it was blatantly obvious that something was supposed to happen and then everybody's just standing around going like, what do I do? And then takes them 20 minutes to figure out an alternative or something. They did a good job. So it sucks, but it could have been worse.
Yep. And I think AJ will be back for Mania. I still think it's Styles and Edge. Until I hear otherwise, I'm thinking maybe Randy and Edge Super Showdown, and they pivot to AJ.
Could be. And we're definitely going to talk about that later on because we're doing our Raw review like we've been doing quite a bit lately. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be the last thing that we talk about. Before we get into the next topic, though, let me toss out a quick little plug for the merchandise shops, TeePublic and Redbubble. You should know by now, but if you don't, those are the places where you can find merchandise for Smart Out Moment, Fanboys Anonymous, and A Mango Tees. So if you browse those designs and you want to pick up something with the wide variety of the different types of merchandise that you can pick up, all ranging from different variations of t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that to stickers and buttons and phone cases and all, a wide range of different things. Just browse around, see if there's anything you want. And if that is something you want, buy it. That's how consumerism works. It's a pretty standard thing. I don't think I need to break that down. You exchange money for goods and services.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah, sometimes. So let's talk about the new Raw commentary team. For a while, we had Vic Joseph and Dio Madden and Jerry Lawler. Dio Madden got taken out of the mix, then we got Samoa Joe, and now we've gotten Vic Joseph taken out of the mix as well. And it's now Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, and Jerry the King Lawler.
I don't hate it. Like,
I don't quite get it.
there was no real flub on the part of Vic Joseph. I feel like there's a good chance Vince just happened to be paying attention to Worlds Collide and said, "Oh yeah, what the fuck happened to that guy? Where's he?" Vince, he's on NXT UK. Why? Why isn't he on Raw? Oh, okay. Tom, Tom, you're on Raw now. Where's the other one? Where's Byron? He's on 205 Live. No, he's on Raw now. Okay. Sorry, Vic.
It's just weird that they didn't just go with this out of the gate if that was where their plans were, you know?
I think they really wanted to try something new. I think they wanted to take a chance on uh Dio Joseph. Dio Madden and Vic Joseph.
Maybe. And maybe they just decided that it wasn't working out. But to me, Tom Phillips and Vic Joseph, they're kind of on equal playing field. I like them both. They're fine.
I think Tom sounds a little less like Michael Cole. So maybe that's better.
It's kind of a wash for me. They don't do anything that stands out. And Byron, I think Byron's best when Corey is there. Like, to me, if you replaced Lawler with Corey, this team would make more sense.
Yeah.
And then for that matter, I mean, maybe you put Lawler on SmackDown. Maybe that you switch that around a little bit, but they clearly didn't. So whatever. I don't know. They're doing something. Who knows how long it'll last? We might have a brand new team 3 weeks from now.
It'll be Byron, Nigel McGuinness, and Aiden English.
And mid-show, Aiden English will get replaced by Johnny Quasto. Then we'll just keep revolving it.
Who will then get replaced by Ryan Papola.
Paps. He would just be super excited about everything. And as soon as Sasha Banks comes out, just go even more crazy. Then he turns up to 11. I like him. Papola's cool.
I like Papola.
I don't have this fully all broken down, but I kind of wanted to mention this thing. Some updated Royal Rumble statistics. If you are unfamiliar, despite the fact that I'm not a big fan of math and numbers, and I just don't really care about all that much, it comes to the Royal Rumble, I feel differently. And I've been tracking a bunch of statistics over the years. The page for smark.moment.com is something you can find underneath the nav bar. The little menu breaks down with the pay-per-views, and you can see the Royal Rumble stats on that page. But I've been tracking a bunch of things over the years, and I have been adding more each time that we get a new set of Royal Rumble. And I'm adding some different things here, and I just kind of wanted to shine a little bit of attention to it. So here's a couple things that have changed recently with the way that these past couple Royal Rumbles have been going, in particular this one. Originally, we had almost no winners from the middle range that from number 11 to number 20, and WWE's been specifically targeting that, it seems. Over the past 10 years, we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winners from around that range. Last night, we got 2 out of that 6, number 17 and number 16 from Flair and McIntyre. And just for an indication of how, strange that is, 6 of the Royal Rumble winners from that range from the past 10 years. From 1988 all the way up until 2009, guess how many were around that range?
I'm going to say 4.
We had Hacksaw at number 13, Michaels at number 18.
Okay.
And that's it.
2.
Yeah.
Really?
2 from that range. So we've had 3 times as many in the past 10 years from that range. Technically speaking, not even from the past 10 years, because the first one was 2013. So in the past 7 years, we've gotten 6 of them, 3 times as many compared to what we did for the first 20 years.
That's wacky, man.
That's really strange. It's almost like a concerted effort where they were like, we haven't had a whole lot of people from that range.
Probably, different creative heads, people look at numbers differently. As
Could
weird as
be.
that might be to say. Like, hey, maybe it's too obvious if they come in at number 27.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we want to give Drew McIntyre a good 40 minutes to shine in there. I don't think he was in there for 40 minutes, but you know what I mean?
Drew McIntyre was the longest one for this whole Iron Man situation. We now have the confirmation for like different times and stuff that we didn't have yesterday. He was in there for 34 minutes and 11 seconds.
That's not bad.
Not bad. He beats out Bianca Belair was the Iron Woman for the women at 33 minutes and 20 seconds. So he had 1 minute more. Bianca is now in the top 10 longest cumulative times for the Royal Rumble for the women, because that's just a long enough thing that got her in that mix. I mean, we've only had 3 of them, so that range is not quite the same as when it comes to the men.
Is she really?
Yeah, she number 1 right now is Natalya, then Charlotte. It's a 20-minute difference between those two, funny enough. Then Ember Moon, just from her 1:58-minute time.
Oh, good for her.
Then Sasha is at 54. Becky is at a grand total of 44. Alexa is 39. Mandy is 38. And Bianca is 33. So those are the top 10 for the cumulative women's time. I haven't figured out the top 5 or 10 for the men's yet. And that's because that's a far grander task. I have to do, 30 times 35 or whatever fucking Royal Rumbles that we've had. That's going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to chip away at that between today and tomorrow. So if you check the page on smarkandmom.com, at some point throughout this week, everything's going to be updated entirely. No changes to the longest Iron Man time. No changes to the shortest Iron Man time, which is still John Cena at 22 minutes in 2011. We do have Bianca's now the shortest Iron Woman, but that's not saying a whole lot. Couple of differences from like the average entrance numbers for the Iron Man and Iron Woman, that kind of stuff. You can check that all out at smarkandmama.com. I'm not going to run down every single one of these things. But we did get the Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman tied now for the most eliminations in a single match at 13. Yep. We've gotten a little bit of a bump up for the average most amount of eliminations. Better way to put that maybe is like the most eliminations per Royal Rumble, you average them all out. And now it's a little bit higher than 6. It's actually 6.7. So we're leaning more towards 7 just because these people, Roman got the record and then Braun got the record and then Brock tied it. They're throwing off that scale a little bit. That's kind of interesting. Flair is currently in the lead for the most full total eliminations at 9. And funny enough, Bianca and Shayna, they had 8 this time around, and they are already tied for second place for the most cumulative eliminations.
Yeah, I wrote an article about that last night for Fightful. I was pretty impressed to see Bianca get the record, and then Shayna just gets right there with 2 minutes in the ring, I think.
Maybe she just, firestorm.
Had she won the match, she would have been number 1.
So those are some stats. Just kind of wanted to put them out there again.
Because you're like me, and you've been watching for a while. How crazy is it that I didn't get this until you said it? Roman just broke the record in 14 or 15, and then already 2 people have broken that and tied. Like Kane had this fucking record forever. Nobody got 211. And now, like, these dudes are just getting up there real quick.
Which kind of makes me think that, 2 or 3 years from now, we're going to get somebody who's just like 19 or something, the way that those things work.
Big Jordan.
Could be Big Jordan. Could be Babatunde. He's big.
He is big and other people are not.
Stupid recurring joke. Let's talk Andrade. He apparently suspended.
For a wellness violation.
Yeah. No confirmation of what he got suspended for. We still don't even know, for that matter, what Robert Roode got suspended for. So we might just never know.
It might have been mustache cream. Some ingredient in mustache cream,
Is that
which you
like
don't
a
ingest. So I don't know
Booker's
how.
beard cream thing?
Yeah.
Booker. Is that what you were doing with Royal Rumble?
Um, this can't be the best look for him, but he'll be fine. It's no big deal.
I feel like this is probably the best time for it to happen rather than later down the road.
He didn't lose the belt,
Right. They
which is
could have very
weird.
easily just had him drop that title, and they didn't, so that's a good sign. It's probably one of those things where it's like, well, technically we have to, but you're not going to lose any steam.
Yeah, he could still defend it when he comes back in 30 days.
Yeah, exactly. So another quick plug here, the Patreon. If you have some spare change and you want to help us keep the lights on and you want to help promote us to have more time to be able to do some other things and, play around a little bit more, then donate to the Patreon. Yeah, if a buck goes a long way, but if you reach the $10 tier, then you can get access to the Patreon exclusive Darkcast episodes. We have 2 of them up already for this month. Maybe some other one down the line. Not entirely sure exactly when or where. That's the type, well, where it's going to be Patreon. That's kind of the whole point. But
But you don't know where you'll be recording it.
it's true. I'm going to be bouncing around here and there with, some recording locations. So maybe elsewhere. I don't know.
You'll be on the moon. You don't fucking know. You don't know what Tony does with his life.
Darkcast on the moon could happen. Maybe on the dark side of the moon. Then I'll just be super punny that day. And nobody will know. Because it's not a video podcast.
Well, you're on the moon right now.
Yeah. I could just add a bouncing kind of a echoey effect or something, and you'd be
Was
none
the
the
moon landing
wiser.
fake? Perhaps this is a topic for a Darkcast, but I don't know.
Maybe, but I
no.
don't think so.
I say no, but I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Either question could apply. Is the moon landing fake, or what else is The Shining about? So yeah, you might might not know what you get going for. Oh my god, I'm bouncing around all over the place here. I am on the moon. You might not know what we're going to be sending your way when it comes to the Darkcast. So just reach that tier, and then you will find those when they pop up. But even more so on that side of the Patreon that I want to promote is the Pick Your Poison tier, because if we did not do some kind of a special feature or a gimmick of some sorts, and you really want to make sure that we do it, if you donate and you suggest that, then we will figure out a way. That's how that works. And we've gotten some stuff out of the past couple of months, so we're looking forward to doing some more of those in the future. And now it is the road to WrestleMania, so there's lots of topics that people would always like to see us do that we don't get time to do. And it's a good way to do it. So yeah, consider donating to the Patreon if you got the spare change. If you don't, totally understand. There's plenty of other ways for you to show your support for the channel, whether it's just sharing videos, clicking on the website links, passing stuff around with different friends, following Facebook and Twitter. There's lots of different ways, so keep that in mind. Also, for the sake of it, I'll just toss you out there. fanboysanonymous.com is my site for the movie reviews and other kind of geek culture topics. And of course, if you want more from that, the Patreon is the best way to make sure that I can set aside time for that. So yeah, more
you
more
don't want to
fanboy
wait
stuff.
till the end of the show for my plugs because you barely care about me as it is. At Dude Felice on Twitter and Instagram. I write for Fightful and WrestleZone.com. Check me out there. Just keep supporting wrestling, and that's what I do.
Yeah, look at that. Plugs out of the way. We still have a topic to talk about. So anybody who doesn't like the plugs, sorry. So just head up the page. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so let's talk about Monday Night Raw. There were quite a bit of things that happened on this episode. It's not the absolute biggest Raw that's ever happened in the history of, Monday nights, but at the same time, I think that it's something that we got a lot to break down. And we might as well start at the top because that's kind of the way that things work out. We started out the night with Drew McIntyre. He officially declared that he is challenging Brock Lesnar, which no surprises there, but at the same time, it's confirmation. And he decided to beat the crap out of the OC as well, beat both Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson by pinfall in a handicap match, and he ate an F5 after that. Brock Lesnar attacked
I
him.
really liked that. Like Brock didn't. It wasn't like, ladies and gentlemen, blah 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 blah. Brock just was like, no, fuck you, and F5'd him, and boy, Heyman didn't say a word. He just looked, and Brock left.
Yeah, works.
Brock seems motivated to me.
He has for the past
Few months,
little
right?
bit, yeah, and that's been a lot more entertaining. So, man, if we could have gotten that this whole time, then there wouldn't be a Brock Lesnar rule, you know? Not
I
going to
like
apply the Brock Lesnar rule
because
here
I
yet.
wasn't on the Royal Rumble podcast. I really like the "Who is this motherfucker" for the when Keith Lee came out. Brock Lesnar just being Brock Lesnar and just, who is this motherfucker?
And Keith Lee, of course, in true fashions, like, I'm Keith Lee, you bastard, and just kind of beat the crap out of him for a little bit, so that was cool. What were your overall thoughts? Because you didn't talk about the Royal Rumble, but how are you feeling after that?
It was really fun, I thought. The opening match was good. The women's Rumble was a little lackluster. I did not like the Naomi spot, mostly because she literally threw herself out of the ring just so she could do the spot. Strap match was good. Becky beat Asuka, no surprises, and really fun Royal Rumble. They looked like they were going to do what I thought they would do with the Brock Lesnar throwing out everybody. Then McIntyre eliminates him, like I said. Edge actually comes back, and McIntyre fucking wins it. I couldn't have booked a better Royal Rumble. I really liked it.
So you're looking kind of on the upswing right now for the whole WrestleMania build.
Oh yeah. At least for the Raw side.
Okay, good. We'll see how that's all plans out
If
in
you
the next
notice, I
couple of
completely
weeks.
skipped the
Yeah,
fact of
that's why it took me a second. I was just like,
Bailey
huh.
and
Yep.
Lacey Evans, because I totally spaced, because it does nothing for me.
We on the Monday Night Raw side of things, one of the surprises from Royal Rumble was MVP, and MVP came back again. He wrestled Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio won by pinfall. I'm not quite sure what this means. They kind of acted as if MVP is just back now.
Nope. I caught this very clearly when he was there. Hey, it's the night after the Rumble, and sometimes the surprises stick around for just one more night.
I mean, that seemed to be the case with Kelly Kelly, because later on throughout the night, she's hanging out backstage with the Street Profits, and that's going nowhere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect her to be back, but...
Although, you know what? No, with the fucking Lana and Liv match, Kelly Kelly can easily get in there and mix up. 2 minutes and 36 seconds. We'll get to that. I hated it.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. So if MVP sticks around, what are you thinking? Yay,
Partner him
nay?
with Matt Hardy. Let's go full nostalgia. Partner him with Matt Hardy first. And I'd move him to SmackDown. I think he's a SmackDown guy. And I'd put him again. He could fight Shinsuke again. They used to fight in New Japan. There's a lot MVP can do. MVP, unfortunately, was kind of like a Mr. Kennedy, where he was big for a minute, and then he really became like maybe main event of superstars level, and never exceeded past that again. So for a while, for WWE fans, maybe even for those who've been watching for like a decade or so, they only know MVP as the guy who was kind of a mid-carder.
He
So
never ascended to that world title level.
he really should have. At least he had a shot. He can always say he had Benoit's last Mania match.
I don't know if he really wants to say that, though.
He liked him. He didn't like what he did at the end of his life, but who did?
Yeah. Then we had former Cruiserweight Classic competitor show up. Kenneth Johnson. Gets his ass kicked by Aleister Black, but he showed up.
I like this too. I really enjoyed I'm tired of waiting for you to knock on my door. Now I'm going to pick a fight with you.
Didn't he do that already, though?
He tried to. And then the next week, he got right back behind the door.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I'm going to wait to see what they do with Aleister Black. But at the very
Look,
least, he gets a win. He looks strong in that, so that's a positive. And we had a segment with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy in the ring. They're going to defend the Raw Tag Team titles. And leading into that, there's a promo where they're kind of talking it out with Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe, and they figure out that AOP's backstage, which gives the Viking Raiders the knowledge to be able to go and attack them. I thought that was kind of funny.
this was, maybe I'm overthinking, but I enjoyed this so much. It was so logical. They were like, oh, we know the Viking Raiders are going to just attack us. No, they're not. Here, look, they're backstage. We have a camera set up because we knew you were going to think that they'd attack you. Oh, yeah, like, we don't work for a large production company and we don't shoot shit earlier in the day. I was like, why don't they do that more?
Mm-hmm.
That was just so fucking logical. I loved it. And then Viking Raiders attacked and they had a nice little tag match. Joe does get injured and taken to the backstage area, so it becomes a 2-on-1 deal. I liked it.
Where do you think they're going with this whole Joe injury thing?
You think it was a work?
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I'm unsure is because we've had 3 incidents this weekend, well, if you count today, where people get injured mid-match and have to leave sooner than expected.
Wolf, by the way, update on that. Seems like Wolf is doing okay, so that's good. I wouldn't expect him to really be in action all that much, outside of the fact that they already pre-recorded some stuff for NXT UK, but yeah, seems like that's not as bad as it could have been.
He seemed to believe it was his own doing because he didn't keep his chin up.
He did say chin up. I thought it was funny. So I don't buy that the Samoa Joe thing is a legit injury. I think that was just a way for them to write off Joe and then have Owens lose and keep him looking strong in the process.
When do you think they finally do Joe and Rollins?
Joe versus Rollins, just one-on-one?
Not Joe, Owens.
Owens and Rollins or Owens Joe?
Owens and Rollins.
See, I would say that it would make sense if they did that for Super Showdown, but I don't think that Owens is going to go.
Did he go last time?
He hasn't gone.
Ever?
He either went to the first one and stopped or didn't go there either.
I think he went to the first one at least. I think he was in the Rumble. Yeah, because he had that moment with Jericho where he yelled at him, go back to Japan.
I know that with the whole Sami Zayn thing, he's been very supportive of Sami Zayn. So there's that, and then there's, I got to assume that a lot of people aren't going to be really willing to go over with this whole political climate going on right now, so that's kind of tough, too. And then at that point, I would be like, well, maybe they figure out some other kind of thing, but where do you think they're going with this? Because I can't imagine that they're just going to keep doing this for 2 more months.
See, that's the most intriguing thing to me, because I kind of thought Rollins would have been a good edge opponent as well, you know, for Mania, but I can't see them doing this shit through WrestleMania.
I mean, even if they keep throwing other people in there, like if Black is still in there, or how they put Big Show in there, or whatever they do, it just doesn't strike me as the type of thing where they're like, all right, Rollins and Murphy and AOP against Owens and Joe for all of January and February and March, and then be like, and it's happening at Mania. People will be like, oh my God, I saw it for the last 3 goddamn months. Like, they need some kind of a hook. And I don't think that that's CM Punk either. Because why would Punk, out of all the things to do, want to wrestle in a 6-man tag or something?
And at this point, I think the moments to bring in Punk have ceased, at least until after Mania.
I think they could still do it on Raw if they wanted to pop a rating. But even if you do that, it's got to be him against Rollins. And then you just keep Owens and Joe and everybody in the same mix and have it even less impactful. Like, I also thought maybe there was a chance that this was going to lead to Owens and Joe in a match. But then that's another just team turns into each other and one of them's babyface and the other one, like, you know, I don't know. I'm not feeling a clear direction here.
And
I'm liking what they're doing, though. So it's not like it's like the Bailey situation where I'm just like, oh my God, they have no idea and it sucks already, you know?
Yeah, like, they have good characters in the mix. They have good matches and good promos, but you just can't carry it out through Mania.
If anybody has any suggestions where they think this is going, drop a comment below. I'm really curious. I updated my WrestleMania predictions earlier, and I was just like, I have no fucking idea. Really
Yeah.
don't.
Because, I mean, with Edge and Randy potentially being a Mania match, there's nowhere to go with Edge and anybody else. And Rollins really shouldn't be in a tag match at Mania. That'd be weird unless it's like he fights DX or some major tag team.
It could just be that this is their means for the tag titles. I mean, it'd be a way for them to actually utilize it and not just be like, oh, clusterfuck match. It's AOP versus Viking Raiders versus Street Profits versus, the way that they would normally do. But I don't know. And it's only the day after the Royal Rumble. We got plenty of time, but still, sometimes we have our clear directions, and I don't think we have one yet for this. So it'll be interesting. Becky Lynch was interviewed about the Asuka match. She basically just says, like, I'm the shit. And that's pretty much it. Humberto Carrillo.
What do you think? She said, if Charlotte challenges me, it won't be the first time, but it damn sure will be the last. You think we're just getting Becky and Charlotte?
Well, we waited 2 more segments till we get to that, so hold on. We then had the United States Championship match between Humberto Carrillo and Andrade because you just fucking saw it last night. Let's just do it again. I don't know why. I hate it when they do that.
Well,
I don't
apparently
see
because he's suspended for a drug violation, and they're going to do the gimmick at the end where so Zelina Vega breaks up the pinfall. By the way, Zelina is always a 10. And then Humberto gets mad because he lost the match, or he won the match by DQ and doesn't get the belt. And he actually DDTs Andrade on the concrete.
Now, I don't dislike the idea that that's how they wrote him off, but I still feel like it just wasn't sort of good. Like, I mean, Carrillo is the main problem here. I don't want to see 30 days from now Andrade versus Carrillo in their 15th match.
Yeah, the people I work with don't seem to be fond of Humberto Carrillo. Very much like somebody actually said, I'm gonna go watch a David Flair match. Goodbye.
We've said it before a million times. He's got some talent and he's got some stuff going on, but the overall package, it's not working for me. So anytime that they do something where it's like he's got more energy this time, I'm like, I don't fucking care. So I'm not going to be all like, oh yeah, he DDT'd him. Now it changes my mind entirely. Now he's got personality. He doesn't. He DDT'd him. Okay.
Tony. He's got dimples, man.
Fuck the dimples. Who cares?
I've never been much of a person who's like, oh, look at the dimples, but that seems to be where they're going with him. I feel like his logo should just be dimples on a face. Like,
that'll be his side plates.
Yeah, that's really bad.
After that, we had Charlotte come out. Earlier, we had Drew McIntyre straight up just go, all right, not going to waste any time. I'm challenging Brock Lesnar. Charlotte, since she's apparently a constant heel who is booked in babyface kind of situations and still acts like a heel anyway, she says, I'm still thinking about it. And then they book her in a babyface situation with the Kabuki Warriors attacking her. And Charlotte beats Asuka by DQ after Kairi Sane interferes.
Because she's a heel, right? Babyface, not a babyface, getting jumped by the heel tag team champions.
This is why I have her down in my heel and face turns as constantly goes back and forth.
So, somebody said this, and I'm going to pitch this to you because one of the running jokes between us is WWE, no matter what the fucking situation is, will find a way to say, for the first time ever at or at anything really, but are we gonna get for the first time ever at WrestleMania the women's tag team championships will main event because Charlotte is going to choose to challenge for the women's tag team titles and her partner will be Ronda Rousey?
That would be very weird. I'm still
I
leaning in the direction that I think she's going to challenge Rhea Ripley.
Either way, with either of the scenarios just pitched, I'd rather just see her fight Becky.
Uh,
Don't do this
I don't.
thing. No, don't do this thing where you have to go outside the box. Just fucking challenge for one of the main titles. Don't go, I'm going to challenge Rhea Ripley because NXT has the best women's division, even if it's true. You're not going to suddenly stop acting like Raw and SmackDown aren't above NXT. Don't do it.
Yeah, but see, I would be on board with that if it meant that the match would be anything other than the match we've seen 1,000 times. If the alternative is to just go with the Becky Lynch thing because it's the quote unquote big match kind of thing, and then all we get out of it is something that I've seen way too much of, I don't want to see
I
it.
think if she does challenge Lynch, it's 60 minutes Iron Man.
I don't think they have enough time.
They have a 5-hour show. What do you mean, bro? They have
Look
a
at how many
5-hour.
matches they try to cram in there, though. They had like 17 matches this last time.
Now is the time to not do that, you know?
Yeah, but they're not going to not do that because then you can't get people on the card.
Not everybody needs to be on the card. That's a rule. Like, that's something that needs to be learned. Not everybody needs to be on the card.
But are you going to be sacrificing having somebody like an AJ Styles in a match because you want 60 minutes of a
No,
match that
you
we've seen before?
sacrifice having somebody like Tucker in a
Yeah,
match.
well, they're not going to be on the card anyway. They're going to be in the Battle Royal.
No, they're going to be in the tag team clusterfuck that they force on us every year.
If that, like, I mean, that's the only two things. That's only taken 15 minutes or so.
Or we get the first ever intergender WrestleMania match, and it's Fire and Desire against Heavy Machinery.
I'm really just 100% against the idea of Charlotte versus Becky. I don't think that there's a single gimmick they can do that can make me want to watch that. Because if they do, like, well, it's going to be the last time ever because if you challenge me, then you'll never get another chance to. I don't fucking care. It's not going to be a career thing because they're not going away. I
Well,
don't want, like, I don't want
Well,
Charlotte versus Bailey. I don't want, I mean, I don't want Charlotte versus anybody. I'll put it that way.
so here's a thought. Do they pivot extremely, have Shayna go over to SmackDown, beat Bailey, and then do Charlotte and Shayna and Becky and Ronda? Like, separately, I mean, of course. Like Charlotte and Shayna on SmackDown, Becky and Ronda on Raw.
Well, what's weird is when Becky was talking tonight, she said her next challenger is going to be somebody she wants to fight. Who would she want to fight? The only person I can think of is Shayna because she didn't win at Survivor Series.
That's true. But they still have like 3 pay-per-views.
Right. And maybe they're going to do something a little bit strange. Maybe it's going to be like the person I want to fight is, I don't know, Liv Morgan.
Right.
And then it's just sort of like, you know, a throwaway match kind of. And then they pivot over to Shayna or somebody else. I'm
But what
hoping
does
that it's not
Charlotte
just
versus
like,
Rhea Ripley really accomplish?
oh, it puts NXT higher up on the spectrum. It gives potentially, I'm assuming if Rhea Ripley wins, gives her a huge, huge win. Gets more eyes on the NXT product because Flair is a bigger name than any of the people that are in NXT right now. And if they do that on TakeOver or they do that at Mania, then that's a big deal, you know?
I just don't think, like I said, it seems like such a gimmick to do for one night, and then you're going to go right back into saying NXT is developmental. So, I don't know.
Well, here's a
Just
gimmick
seem
that
like-
I'm hearing some people suggest that I really hope is not the case, which is she had said she would challenge for a championship. Oh my God, she's going to challenge for the United States title or something like that.
I thought about that.
I don't want to see that at
I
all.
did think about that. But Charlotte doesn't seem like the intergender type.
But it is Andrade.
It is Andrade.
So they could have them like, well, we're gonna do this thing, and then that way, because Charlotte can't be the man because Becky is the man,
We're
and
gonna have her win the
we're
man's
gonna have
title.
her win the men's title, so that way we can still give her that whole, you
I'm the
know,
man.
I'm the man, and I got my big
To
first
be
time
the
ever. I get
I
my
bet to
moment.
be the man, I beat the man. Blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Whatever.
It could happen, and I really hope that's not the case because I just think that that's stupid. Plus, it's also like, what are you just trying to copy off the Tessa Blanchard thing? But you can't do it with
But then
the
you
world title,
establish that intergender wrestling is okay. So can Brock Lesnar just beat the shit out of Becky Lynch?
which wouldn't happen, you know.
Which I'm not saying I'd even want to see. I'm saying once you cross those lines, somebody at some point is going to have to do that.
And they do kind of cross the lines here and there. Nia Jax, part of the men's Royal Rumble, despite the fact that there is a women's Royal Rumble. Santina, part of the
That
women's Royal Rumble.
that was so stupid, but it was funny
I
because
laughed.
I think that's funny, but it was so stupid.
So I guess this whole Asuka Flair thing, they're kind of going back to that well, at least for the time being, but who knows where that's going to go.
I
I
like
guess.
how we can't just think of, well, fuck, can you just challenge for a woman's title? We're constantly, because of the mindset that WWE has put us in, we're constantly like, okay, well, what's the swerve here? How you gonna do this first time ever gimmick that you need to get off your chest?
Hmm.
Instead of just being like, yeah, Becky, we fought a million times, but you know what? You're the Raw champion. I'm on Raw. For right now, unless you lose that belt, I'm challenging you. You know?
And I'll just be like, ugh.
Because there's still Ronda, that we're waiting on confirmation whether she'll be there or not. She had a great Instagram post last night, though. I thought that was very funny. She's like, "Oh, you really thought I was coming back tonight?" There's still Shayna, and I just have no desire to see her compete in NXT or compete for the tag titles or compete for a men's title. Just challenge for one of the main women's titles. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You constantly working around that makes it seem like there's something wrong with that.
What is weird though is if she challenges, like if she pops up at Takeover Portland, attacks Rhea Ripley and says, "Oh, I'm challenging you at WrestleMania," they're going to need to figure out number one contenders for two separate matches, and they'll only have the Elimination Chamber. So they will either have to do two Elimination Chambers or they'll have one of these number one contenders matches on Raw or SmackDown.
And again, you're just saying, like, what does that say? We just had 30 women compete. We have the Raw Women's Champion who says that she's the fucking man. She's the best in the business. And the winner of the Royal Rumble is like, no, I'm going to go over to the third show, to the developmental brand or whatever you want to call it.
Well, it says that it's not developmental anymore.
It's a weird look. And yeah, it does. And I guess she's NXT champion, so then she can fight the men. Who knows?
Who knows what's the plan when it comes to this? The idea that Riddick Moss is now on the Raw roster. He is Mojo Rawley's buddy. There goes the Outliers and the tag team with Dorian Mack and the whole part
That,
of
that
the Robert
Robert,
Stone brand.
that Dan Matha, man. Can't catch break.
He really can't. Because now he is Mojo Rawley's offensive lineman.
I thought
I
this was really good.
I actually love this. It's so gimmicky in like the right way. Like I still think that Mojo Rawley's gear looks stupid, and I still don't think that there's a whole lot to really go with for Mojo. But at the same time, we know he's got a football background, and Riddick Moss has a football background, and Moss is somebody who works better as a tag team member, I think. And shit, now I'm just already jumping to the gun of being like, can we just give Mojo Rawley a whole fucking football team?
That'd be fun.
Like, I'm not a big football guy. I can't name all the different positions and stuff, but like, he's calling himself a quarterback, and he's got an offensive lineman. Okay, let's throw a running back in there. Let's throw like, you know what I mean?
Your tight end Dan Matha, and then your running back Nick Ogarelli. I'd bring up all the big dudes from NXT. I really would. Because what are you gonna do with them?
So you're gonna have like on the defense side of things, Babatunde. He's a big guy.
Absolutely, he's a big guy.
Other
Bronson
people aren't.
Reed. Like
Bronson
this
Reed comes back in.
this is it.
This is a shot.
Oh well, Dave. I know we don't report on the Observer here, but Dave Meltzer, in his infinite wisdom, has just said it will be Becky and Shayna at WrestleMania.
And what the fuck was Charlotte then? That's a big thing, you know?
But that's it. That's what I'm saying. Like Charlotte, I don't know. It's gonna be a weird road to WrestleMania for the women because they have already made the bulk of the history that they can make. So now it's like we need to expand on that. We need to make more history. How can we make more history with the women? And I will say this: on the off chance that tag team shit does happen, I will be very mad if the women's tag titles main event before any traditional tag team championship match ever got the chance to, just because it's historic and it's 2020.
I'm banking on that Rhea Ripley thing. I'm putting that down as my prediction going forward. January 27th, 28th. I mean, we're recording both over the course of, midnight and that kind of stuff. Put that in there with my Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus match. I feel like those matches are happening. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. They kind of alluded to it a little bit before, and maybe that was a little bit of a test.
Man, it's just not for me.
Well, the Mojo Rawley thing, that seems to be working for him. He has him as his offensive lineman to block people from trying to win the 24/7 title, and he beats No Way Jose. And then in typical WWE form, Riddick Moss is already ruled out as not really being too effective because R-Truth gets a roll up and wins the title, and then Mojo Rawley wins it right back. But yeah, so we had 2 title changes on this episode of Raw. I really could technically label this as like 2 titles change hands on it, but I'm not gonna do that.
I think he was still effective in the sense that R-Truth tried to run away.
Stopped him.
Yeah. So it was good, but he really should have stopped him from ever hurting him in the first place.
Yeah, that would have been a better way to do it. Just R-Truth is trying to roll him up, and Moss just kind of checks him,
Or while he's rolling him up, break it up, bro. You're run.
Yeah. But if we're talking things that aren't for us, Liv Morgan versus Lana.
Yeah. 2 minutes, 36 seconds. What the fuck?
Well, would you want it to be more than that? That's the thing. Gotta steal that line.
Yeah. I think I would. Because the whole point for the last, 4 years has been proving that the women are more than cheap storylines revolving around sexuality and 3-minute matches. And that's all you've gotten here for the entirety of this weird love rectangle angle. And I hated it. I just fucking hated it.
I hated it because I just didn't like it. I think that this story is absolute garbage in every way, and that their idea that this was like a match that I would want to see is wrong because I didn't want to see it. So the concept of well, this should go more to me. I'm like, no, this shouldn't have happened to begin with.
They've just fucking eradicated Rusev and Lashley. They weren't even in the Rumble. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't even take a couple seconds on the pre-show like we were talking about. Couldn't have done the angle there. It's bad writing when it comes to that. But then again, that's this angle. Bad writing. It's not good. So I'm not surprised. But I really hope, and I said this about multiple other things, I really hope that this is the end of it. I don't think it is, but now Liv Morgan beat Lana. Move on. Write it off. You've already tried. It's not working. Have Liv Morgan go take the next month off and come back again or something. I don't know.
Well, that's the one thing I don't think needs to happen. I think she doesn't need to leave. But Lana can. Lana annoys me. I know it's her job and I guess she's doing it, but man, I'm so annoyed with the character.
I still maintain that there's a difference between heel heat of I got you to boo me because my character got you to boo me, and I got you to boo me because you just don't want to see me. Because, yeah, I mean, I feel tense when I'm watching a movie like, say, Gravity. Like, it's a tension movie, but that's the point of the movie. I shouldn't feel uncomfortable in my seat watching something that's like a romantic comedy just because the jokes aren't good. And it's not like, there you go, tension, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's this weird thing in wrestling where I go, let's role play. You be the traditional Twitter, I'm gonna check you just because I can. I really didn't like that Baron Corbin segment. And then you go, well, he's a heel, so you're not supposed to. No, but I didn't like it because it was bad. But he's a heel. No, you don't go, Brad Pitt was a villain in 12 Years a Slave, so I don't mind that his acting sucked in the movie because he was a bad guy. You go, wow, that fucking movie sucked because he sucked in that movie. That's, like, what is hard about that?
Yeah. Not gonna hear an argument from me. We had a little bit more in the Eric Rowan side of things, but not much. He beats another jobber. They don't do anything with the cage.
With a little Eric Rowan.
I forgot. It took me a second. I was like, wait a minute, what? Little Eric Rowan. Oh, yeah, Eric Rowan.
That's all I can think about when I saw the cage. I was like, Callum saying that there was a mini wrestler in the cage. That's fucking funny.
And then our main event was the most important thing here. Edge coming back. They promoted it all night, this idea of him coming back. And he's back. He cuts his promo. Awesome to hear him talk about like how much this means to him. And I like the idea that he addressed the fact that he doesn't know how long he's going to be able to do it.
Another situation, and it's because the people involved were fucking masters, but he addressed that he's old. And not in like a funny Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels way. He just was like, yeah, I know I have crow's feet. I know I'm a little gray. But like that's cool because it tells the story of my journey back here. And I'm like, yeah, I buy that completely.
And it's not like he's supposed to be the young upstart anymore. He's a veteran. He's a Hall of Famer. He's won 1,000 championships. He can be older.
And he looks, what's cool is he doesn't look like, sometimes
like the way that a lot of them used to, at the very least.
Yeah, and he just looks like an older version of himself. Like, if you took him and you put him in a face app and you aged him up, perfect. He looks as good as he can. He wants to retire on his terms. The promo, which is the first half of this, was so perfectly done. And then, he talks about grit and how he wants to fight Rollins and Riddle and all these people. And then Orton comes out and they have like a real moment in the ring where they're just like...
Totally a real moment.
Totally a real moment where he's saying, I used to be a piece of shit. Edge used to get me out of the holes. We were making towns, man. What if Rated RKO got back together? And then he just drops him with the RKO.
And at that moment, I'm like, I fucking love Randy. Like, Orton is so good in so many different ways, and I kind of figured that we'd get rated RKO at WrestleMania. I didn't think that we would get Edge versus Orton, because I thought that this was going to work into the way with AJ Styles and company. So for them to switch that around a little bit, I'll be honest, even though it's something that is predictable, I didn't think they'd do that. I thought at the very least, if they were going to do that, that they would wait. And that this would be the type of thing that, like, maybe Rated RKO would team up at Super Showdown, have a tag team match, and then Orton would turn on him.
Especially, and they utilized the overrun, man. The overrun was real good. They have him say that, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, oh, maybe they go off the air like this. And then he fucking drops him, and I'm like, okay, maybe they go off the air like this. And then he hits him with a chair. And Edge must have been directly under the fucking microphone. Because you can hear him scream and just writhe in pain. Perfectly. Like a man who, surprisingly enough, hasn't been hit in the back with a chair in 9 years. And it was just like, like, oh my god, this hurts. And then he does the thing where he puts his head in the chair.
Yeah, teases said he's going to stomp on that and just completely eviscerate his neck.
And he's going to do the fucking Austin stomp on the leg. And he sits there and he says, no. And the camera work, by the way, they're getting the trembling hand of Edge. Masterful shit. And he takes the chair off his head. He starts to walk away. And you go, oh, maybe they walk away like this. And then he runs back around. And he gets 2 chairs. And you know where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
And he does the fucking concerto. And you're just like, this is why I love wrestling. This was so good. Like, honestly, and I said this on the WrestleZone post show, Drew McIntyre won the Rumble. He immediately came out and called out Lesnar. Edge is back. Randy's a heel fighting Edge. The Rollins segment was logical. I feel like they're doing my fantasy booking. Like, they're doing shit in a logical way. And I want to see Randy and Edge fight so bad. And fuck, it was just good, Tony.
There's such a big disparity, I think, between something that's like as bad as this Liv Morgan and Lana crap is, and then as good as this Edge stuff has been.
The only thing I'll say about older guys is boy, oh boy, when Edge or Taker or Michaels or Hunter get a microphone in their hands, it is night and day. As soon as they get on the microphone, you go, oh, that's why we have every show start with a 30-minute promo, because guys used to be able to fucking do that.
Now everybody's just like the same voice. It's been said a million times. I don't need to go down the whole thing, but like,
now everybody grew up as a fan of that and is trying to be that instead of being their own version of that. And man, this segment fucking rolled. Fucking knocked it out of the park, man.
Major fan. I am very easily putting this on the if not the number 1 highest thing that I'm looking forward to when it comes to WrestleMania. It's got to be number 2. I don't know when the other number 1 would be, but yeah, this is awesome. And where they go from here, I mean, we do have a couple of months, so it could just be Edge is written off for a little bit, and Orton feuds with just somebody in the meantime, somebody who's like, hey, that wasn't cool what you did with Edge, and they kind of feud a little bit, or, you know, maybe he comes back around, they do something with the Super Showdown, I don't know, but I'm digging it. So
good.
I'm not going to question the idea that I'm not digging it, you know?
I want to see more. I want to see Edge around for a long time. The reports from places like WrestleZone suggest he was so into the idea of coming back that he was talking to AEW. I'm glad he didn't go there, if only because Adam Copeland is fine, but it's better that he got to do this as Edge.
He's Edge. No, if he went to AEW, I wouldn't like that.
It would have felt cheap. Not that I wouldn't have loved the idea of like middle-aged Edge and Jericho running around, but he's Edge. I loved
Yeah.
it. Like, there's nothing bad I can say about this.
If you have anything bad to say about it,
You're
again,
wrong.
you might disagree with us or something like that. And if you do, drop a comment below.
And you're
don't,
wrong. You
yeah,
won't say it. I'll say it for you. You're wrong.
I would suggest that you would be wrong. I think that pretty much everybody should be on board with this at the very least. Some of the other stuff throughout the night, maybe you do think that Carrillo is great, and you think that I'm wrong or something like that. Maybe you are wondering what type of soup that Rob should get to heal
Yeah.
his cough or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep the discussion going. Drop a comment below and tell us what your thoughts are. And the same thing applies to the fact that the next thing that we're going to be doing is the mailbag. So if you have not sent in your mailbag questions, you don't have a whole lot of time left. We're probably doing that Wednesday, and it's already, by the time you're listening to this, it's Tuesday. If you drop a set of questions on Tuesday night, we might not get around to doing them. It's kind of hard to do that kind of stuff. We're pretty swamped with a lot of different things. So yeah, stay tuned
We
for
already
that.
did our plugs.
That is like the last plug for the most part. So all you got to do is stay tuned for that and everything else that's happening here. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Smark and just hang around because we'll be hanging around too. For now, this has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.